are you? Good. Please be seated. Let me welcome all of you and pay my respects to Bernie Aronson, our Assistant Secretary of State, who's with us today, Action Director Jane Kenny, Pat Rogers, the VISTA Director. Sarge Shriver was supposed to be here. Now, whether the man is here or not, I don't know. I don't see him, but I do see Senator Chris Dodd and Senator Jay Rockefeller, and we are delighted that you came for this. And is Tribal Chairman Nicole Larson here, I think, right here. Welcome, Nicola. And I know this must be a special day for everybody, particularly for the 25 VISTA volunteers who are our special guests of honor. We're here to celebrate the 25th anniversary of VISTA, though some will tell you that remembering dates isn't my strong suit, but I wouldn't miss this anniversary for the world. And it was a quarter of a century ago, shortly after President Johnson signed VISTA into law, that the first volunteers started their service. And today, 100,000 Americans of all ages and backgrounds can proudly say, I was a VISTA volunteer. And even at this very moment, there are more than 3,000 volunteers at work in more than 650 neighborhoods, from the hollows of Appalachia to the mountains of New Mexico to the city streets of New York and Los Angeles. These volunteers work long, long hours on very short pay, and they work one community, one block, one child at a time. 25 years ago, President Johnson charged the VISTA volunteers with a tough mission, committing you, and here's what he said, to guide the young, to comfort the sick, to encourage the downtrodden, to teach the skills which may lead to a more rewarding life. And that was your mission then, and that certainly is your mission today. And every time a kid learns to read, you make a difference. Every time a homeless family finds shelter, you make a difference. And every time a troubled person stays off drugs, you make a difference for all Americans. I know how much Barbara's work in literacy means to her and to others. And she often talks about what volunteers are doing around the country. And so I know you do give a lot, but you're not giving dignity, for that cannot be conferred, or education, because that must be acquired. You're not bestowing ambition, because ambition's got to come from within. What the men and women of VISTA do achieve is even more miraculous. You impart to so many disadvantaged Americans the means to build pride, to earn a degree or skill, to believe in themselves. For an individual, dignity comes when he realizes he's the true author of his destiny. For a troubled community, it comes by finding leadership from within. And so your achievements come as much from the power of self-confidence as they do from the material side, from material assistance. Sounds like a miracle? Maybe it is. It was a miracle that comes from caring. Now, a few who care enough to volunteer are with us today, many as a matter of fact, but Andrew Jacobs, who works with at-risk street youth in Brunswick, Maine. Demita Wells, who recruits tutors for prison inmates in Nashville. And finally, Nick Flores, who counsels poor rural residents out in New Mexico, who's deeply involved in drug and alcohol abuse prevention, and who helps direct a food service for the hungry. I regard Nick as a very special volunteer because he suffered a terrible injury in a car accident prior to his assignment with VISTA. And I suppose no one would have blamed him if he focused only on himself, only on his own needs. But not Nick. Nick Flores, he would rather serve others, and so now he's out on the front lines helping, building, and caring from people from Las Cruces to Santa Fe. Perhaps he believes, like so many VISTA volunteers, that recognizing something greater than ourselves is what really matters. Or to put it as I have before, from now on in America, any definition of a successful life must include serving others. And that's what attracts men and women of Vista, true activists. You don't often see them because they're off helping others in the most unlikeliest of places. And you don't often hear from them because they're too modest to brag. And you don't often notice them at work because theirs is a quiet mission. But together, helping move this country forward. So when I talk of the 1,000 points of light, please know that no light is more dazzling, brighter than the Vista Volunteers. I drop by with Barbara to say thank you for all you do, and God bless you. Of course, God bless the United States. Thank you very much.
Mr. President, Mrs. Bush, honored guests, I know I speak for everyone here in saying thank you, Mr. President, for your kind words about Vista. We are deeply grateful to you and Mrs. Bush for honoring Vista and for giving such long and devoted support to volunteer activities and community service in general. Today is a milestone in the history of volunteer service. 25 years ago, the first Vista volunteers began serving U.S. communities, and here today, 5 people will commemorate that by taking their oath as Vista volunteers. I would now ask that our future Vista volunteers step forward as I call your names. Donna Talbert. Donna's story will have a familiar ring to you, President and Mrs. Bush, for she grew up in New England, but in seeking the best place to start out on her own after college, has decided to move to Texas. A graduate of Rider College who majored in Spanish and office administration, Donna will serve in Corpus Christi with the Communities in Schools program, a community dropout prevention program. This Vista project is designed to serve 300 at-risk youth and their families, working with the Corpus Christi Independent School District to reduce the dropout rate. Donna will use her skills to help the project develop a marketing plan and resources that will allow it to permanently serve the community. The next volunteer is Maria Vu. Like Donna Talbert, Maria travels a long way to be a Vista volunteer, but her journey has covered many more miles. Maria came to the United States in 1983 after fleeing Vietnam and spent a year as a boat person. She became a United States citizen in 1989, the same year she graduated from Doane College. Maria will serve with the Lincoln Action Program in Lincoln, Nebraska, where she will help develop a comprehensive drug and alcohol prevention program. She will also assist with the development of a mentor program to provide youth with good role models. Maria is herself the mother of 2 children. The next new volunteer is Keith Seed. Keith has recently completed his coursework for a master's degree in history from the University of Colorado in Denver. Although Keith has lived and traveled extensively throughout the world, Keith has chosen to serve as a Vista volunteer in his own local community. He will serve with the Homeless Youth Project of the Denver Mayor's Commission on Youth. Specifically, he will assist the Denver Department of Social Services in the project design and implementation of an independent living skills program. He will also design a volunteer component to assist the department in maintaining the program once the Vista project is completed. Our next new volunteer is Edna Hale. Mrs. Hale shares with Mrs. Bush a deep commitment to promote literacy. A retired teacher, she earned her bachelor's degree in social studies and English. Later, she received a master's degree in speech from Northwestern University. At 72 years of age, Mrs. Hale wrote on her application that being a Vista volunteer would give her the opportunity to use the skills she possesses and at the same time give new meaning to her life. Not surprisingly, her strongest letter of support came from a former student. Mrs. Hale will be serving as a Vista volunteer with the Literacy Council of Metro Richmond in Richmond, Virginia. Our last new volunteer is Derek Williams. Derek recently completed service in the U.S. Army and has chosen to help youngsters in his community before going ahead with his career. He will serve with the Boys Club of Macon, Georgia, helping to build programs that provide inner-city youth who live in public housing with new opportunities and alternatives to the streets. Derek says that VISTA provides him with a chance to give back to the community that which the Boys Club taught him. As a former Boys Club member, as well as a veteran, Derek will serve as an excellent role model for these youngsters. Each of you bring your own unique abilities and commitment to the VISTA program, and in that way you typify all VISTA volunteers. I know that I speak for everyone who is here, but especially for our current and former VISTA volunteers, when I say that you are about to begin what I know will be the most rewarding and exciting year of your life. And now I would like to ask Mrs. Bush to administer the oath of service to our new VISTA volunteers.
Please raise your right hand and repeat after me. I do solemnly swear that I will support and defend the Constitution of the United States against all enemies, foreign and domestic, that I will bear true faith and allegiance to the same. That I take this obligation freely, without any mental reservation or purpose of evasion, and that I will well and faithfully discharge the duties of the office on which I am about to enter. So help me God. So help me God.
Concludes our program. I only want once again to express our deep gratitude to the President and Mrs. Bush for taking time to be with us today.
I forgot to mention the person with whom I work most closely in the White House involving volunteerism, and that's Greg Petersmeyer here, who I know takes the same great pride in your work that Barbara and I do. But lest you didn't know who he was, this big tall guy in the front, that's who it is. And he spends all his time trying to help stimulate this service to others that you've all made the hallmark of your lives. Thank you all very, very much. How are you, Nicola?
Good to see you all.